Ladies and gentlemen, before the start of deliberations on today's topic, let me have the privilege as the president of NISSMAT to introduce this international institution. Established in 1990, it has now become a think tank organization with association of more than 90 experts and scholars on various subjects who provide inputs to us. Our forum has conducted a number of webinars and interactive sessions which have received massive response. I am sure our session today would be of great interest to you all. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to this insightful discussion on a deeply important issue: the concerns of abandoned children, their care, and rehabilitation. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Anshu Gupta, a dedicated leader committed to transforming the lives of abandoned and vulnerable children. Across India and beyond, thousands of children face neglect, homelessness, and uncertainty. Their future depends upon compassionate interventions, structured rehabilitation, and policy support. Through this conversation, we aim to understand the challenges, explore effective solutions, and learn how society can contribute to these children. Dr. Anshu Gupta is a dedicated professional social worker with a PhD from the University of Delhi, where she focused on prisoners with disabilities. With a master's from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, she has spent over a decade driving social change. Dr. Gupta has led transformative education and skill building programs in Delhi's marginalized communities, worked on policy advocacy for disability rights with the Government of India, and contributed to major initiatives on gender sensitization, trafficking prevention, and inclusive education. Her passion for empowerment and systematic reforms makes her an inspiring voice in social development. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you for having me here, sir.
This program today is being brought to you by the AGs of NISSMAT. I would like you all to help us by liking the program, sharing it, and subscribing it. I start by asking the first question. Dr. Gupta, you have immense experience in working with organizations concerned with social work and rehabilitation programs for children. Please share with our viewers the difficulties experienced by you in undertaking such programs.
Sir, in my experience working in organizations that are, focused on social work and rehabilitation programs for children, I have encountered several challenges, and I think these challenges are integral to this field. One of the primary difficulties is, addressing the deep-rooted traumas that many children face. These children often come from environments of neglect, abuse, or displacement, which often requires, not only immediate intervention, but also long-term emotional and psychological support. It's really challenging to help children rebuild trust and feel safe when their experiences already have led to profound sense of insecurity. And then also, sir, I've also worked closely in slums, focusing on providing education and computer training to, children and adolescents. And in my experience, many people in slum communities are, dealing with immediate pressure of survival, such as poverty, ill health, and lack of access to social services. And I think because of that, it is really difficult to convince individuals particularly adults for long-term value, for explaining them the importance of long-term value of education and training programs when they were focused on meeting daily needs. But I think despite these challenges, the experience was invaluable. The work we did in slums showed, how targeted educational interventions, along with a combination of computer skills and job readiness, could actually help break the cycle of poverty. And it was also a reminder that while the barriers are numerous, with persistence, creativity, and local collaboration, the progress is still achievable.
Anju, who actually are abandoned children?
Sir, abandoned child is the one, who is left alone anywhere, like on street, on a railway station, and the whereabouts of the child is unknown. Like, I will give you an example. We have few infants who are being abandoned on the street. We also actually we had to give them a name. Their names were also unknown because they were only few months old, few were only 1 year old, so they were not able to even tell us their names. So a abandoned child is the one whose details are unknown and they are left alone at a place.
So that means abandoned children are left on the street somewhere, and then somebody tells you that they are abandoned, or the police comes to you with the child. How does the system work actually?
Yes. So if the child comes through the police has to produce the child in front of the child welfare committee, and then the child welfare committee declares the child as abandoned. We can't declare the child. We or the police can't declare the child as abandoned. But if somebody else, like some unknown person, finds the child, he has to report to the police station, and then police takes the child to the child welfare committee.
And how long does this system take for the child welfare committee to say, okay, all right, the child is abandoned?
If an abandoned child is found on a street by somebody or to the police, if it is during the working hours, the police has to immediately report to the child welfare committee. But if the child is found at night, which are not the working hours, then the police come directly to the nearby organization that deals with the younger children. They come to us. We keep the child for the night shelter, and then within 24 hours from the time we receive the child, we have to receive that particular child we have to report that particular child to the child welfare committee.
And how does the child welfare committee then decide? What is the process that the child welfare committee undertakes to decide the situation, whether it's abandoned or otherwise? How long do they take?
So if police finds the child, they have to file an FIR first, and they have to investigate the circumstances of the abandonment. They take the child to the nearby places, and they try to trace the biological family or the parents on an urgent basis. But if they are not successful, they take the child to the child welfare committee. On the basis of the statement of the police, the child welfare committee decides if the child is abandoned or not.
And generally, what is the age bracket in which the children are abandoned?
They can be abandoned at any age. Like, we have a child here, sir. She is 11 years old and she ran away from her home, and she was found abandoned by the police at the street. But in that particular case, her whereabouts were known.
And these children who are abandoned, I'm sure they must be having a lot of psychological trauma of abandonment. And how does it affect the emotional and social development of a child?
Actually, I would say that the psychological trauma of abandonment can, have a profound, long-lasting effects on child psychology. That is why at Children of the World Delhi, if we receive any abandoned child, the first and foremost priority for us to, firstly deal with a child's emotional and psychological well-being. But in the cases where their emotional and psychological well-being is not well taken care of, in those cases, a child can develop various kind of issues, like they can develop attachment issues. A child who experience abandonment often struggle with forming healthy attachments to others. Then they may have anxiety and fear. Abandoned child often have persistent feeling of anxiety, fear, and insecurity. Then they can have low self-esteem and worthlessness. They may feel unloved, unwanted, or unworthy. Then they may also socially withdraw themselves, and they can completely go into isolation uh, in an in an attempt to protect themselves from further hurt. And they may also find it difficult to easily trust others. And for this, I have an example. At Children of the World Delhi, we have a 5-year-old child, who was handed over to Child Welfare Committee by his own biological mother. This marks the third time that this child has come to our care, as his mother has struggled to secure stable employment and has faced 2 failed marriages. Now, this repeated separation have significantly, impacted the child's emotional well-being, and leading to, low self-esteem and lack of confidence. This child has endured the painful experience of detachment from his mother multiple times, which has, deeply affected his sense of security and trust.
And Anshu, you would have children of different ages in your organization. How do you educate people of different ages in one?
Yes. So, we have children from 0 to we are eligible to give care to the children within the age group of 0 to 6 years. But we have few older children also. If the Child Welfare Committee decides that a child needs proper care, and if there is a special case, like there are 2 cases where the child has come under the POCSO Act, so in those cases we consider the older children also. If the child is within the school going age, then we have to enroll that particular child in the nearby government school, and they go there for continuing their education. And if the child is little younger, then they receive non-formal education here at our center.
At the center. So you have teachers who would teach
Yes.
informally and
Yes.
till about 6 years of age. After that, they would go either. And then what happens to children when they go beyond 6 years? You have 2 of them who are over 6. But generally after 6 years, and they are still abandoned, where do you send them?
So if the child is above 6 years, if we think that the child can become legally free and we can send that particular child into adoption, then we continue to take our efforts. But if we think that that particular child will remain under care and protection for a longer period, and that particular child will not go into adoption, then we will have to request the Child Welfare Committee to shift that particular child to a nearby childcare institution that deals with the older children.
Okay. So, and what is the general age that you put up a child for adoption?
0 to 6 years, but yes, beyond 6 years also, like sir, we can send children up to the age of 18 years into adoption. Like recently, one of our child who is 12 years old, she's a girl, she's going into adoption. Yesterday was her adoption committee meeting, and we have successfully placed her into adoption.
That's very nice.
In fact, sorry sir, here I would like to add one more thing. We had 3 children. 3 of them were siblings, and there is a rule that if siblings are there, we can't separate them. We have to send them in a same family. So these were 3 kids. 3 of them were siblings. All of them were above 6 years. The youngest one was 9 years, and the eldest one was 13 years. So we took a lot of efforts because we didn't want to shift those particular children to other CCI. We took a lot of efforts. We requested the foreign agencies also, so that any foreign parent can come up for the adoption. And those three siblings have, successfully gone into adoption, and American couple has adopted them.
Oh, that's wonderful. It'll make their life for them, actually.
Yes.
And what kind of services or facilities are provided by your organization? Living conditions and teaching conditions and general upbringing, so that they become responsible citizens in later years.
Sir, our first and foremost, effort is to make this environment is such that they should not feel that they are, staying in an institution. They should feel that it's their home. It is our first effort. So for that, we have a residential facility called Mamta, through which, we ensure a secure environment with proper infrastructure to protect children from harm. This includes safe accommodation, separate facilities for boys and girls, and measures to prevent abuse. We also ensure that the clean and hygienic living conditions are maintained, including access to clean drinking water and proper sanitation facilities. And then we provide nutritious meals to the children. Um, we also ensure that children must undergo routine medical checkups to monitor their health and catch any issues early. This includes physical health assessments and immunizations also. Then psychological and emotional support is provided by the trained counselors, psychologists, or social workers to help children cope with trauma, abandonment, or abuse they may have experienced. Then, we also ensure that all school-going age children are enrolled in nearby schools, because this enables children to, continue their studies in line with the, age-appropriate academic standards. Then we also have a dedicated play area to ensure the recreation and playtime for our kids. We have 10 caretakers who are trained to take care of the child, and they ensure round-the-clock care for our children. We also organize, training programs for our caretakers from time to time to ensure that they are, to teaching them various techniques of handling children, or so that they can catch the warning signs. If the child is facing any problem, they can catch the warning signs.
Besides these recent, you've had 3 successes on adoption. Can you share some other success stories that you've had at your center?
Yes, sir. Actually, a very important story. A newborn child was, brought to our care through police. Police found the baby in a dustbin, and she suffered severe dog attack. The child's injuries were so extensive. The entire left ear had been, bitten off. The soft tissue from the left side of her face was all torn away, then leaving exposed, all tissues. The severity of the physical injuries required immediate medical attention. But, there was also need for emotional care to support the healing process. Trauma, because, trauma can affect not only the body, but also the emotional well-being of a child, especially when the trauma is as intense in this case. And upon arrival, the child's condition was so critical that we, immediately had to rush to the hospital, where the child underwent multiple surgeries. Imagine at that sensitive age, to stabilize and repair the damage. While doctors focused on the physical injuries, we knew that the emotional care was as vital as the medical attention. The infant, though was unable to express fully, was likely experiencing deep distress, fear, and pain. The child fortunately survived and, remained under our care for, approximately 1 year, after which she was successfully sent for adoption. Parents from Spain adopted the child and gave a very good life to her. And then there was also one case where a child was found abandoned and was with Children of the World Delhi. On the time of his admission, he had a cleft palate. So the look of his face was very different. I think because of that only his parents abandoned him on the streets. The caring staff at our organization helped with his treatment and surgeries. From September 2019 to September 2021, he had undergone 4 corrective surgeries. Along with all the special medical interventions done, the regular immunization was also ensured as per his age, and the proper medical attention, care, and follow-ups done by the CW staff had given a new life to him. Earlier, due to his cleft palate condition, he was only on liquid diets because he was having a difficulty in chewing the food. But post surgeries, from October 2021 onwards, he started eating solid foods, and that too completely independently. Then he was successfully sent for adoption. Some foreign couple has adopted the child. These were the 2 success stories that had we could make a lasting impact on these particular children.
What are the hurdles in adoption?
Sir, I think the hurdles, I would say, is that first of all, in my experience, it is unfortunate that parents usually prefer to adopt younger ones as compared to the older children. It's a sad fact that while newborn babies are being adopted very easily, the older ones still wait in institutions. There is a significant preference for adopting younger children, particularly infants and or toddlers. Many families feel they might struggle to bond with older children, or may worry about the child's emotional baggage. And then older children also often find it difficult to adjust to new families because they were leading a certain kind of life. So for us, it is a major challenge, and for parents also. And for, I think, if we think about the child's perspective, they are still waiting in institutions. And the next challenge is, finding families for children with disabilities. This is really unfortunate that Indian parents do not prefer to adopt children with disabilities. And we have experienced that most of our children who are disabled or who are staying with us are being adopted by foreign parents. So in India, there is still stigma to adopt children who have disabilities. Then, sometimes it's really challenging to communicate the long-term effects of institutional care to parents. Sometimes they think that it is a kind of hostel where you can leave your child till the age of 18 years. And then the one fine day when the child is all grown up, he or she will come back to us. They think, and it is really difficult to for us to explain it to them, the negative effects on child psychology of institutional care.
Anshu, how long does the process take? Firstly within India and then outside from India, from the time the, let's say, future parents decide to adopt a child and by the time they can adopt a child?
So I think, sir, the process is same. There is a little difference. Like in India, if a parent registers, a parent has to register on a portal called CARA, which is the central authority for regulating the adoption process in India. So whether it is a Indian parent or a foreign parent, they have to if they want to adopt a child from India, they have to register on the portal called CARA. So if they have successfully registered, we registered specialized adoption agency, staff from specialized adoption agency would visit their house to conduct a home study report. They have to submit that upload that home study report on the portal, and on the basis of the recommendation of the adoption officer or the social worker, if they have recommended that the couple or an individual is suitable to adopt the child, the adoption process goes further. And the whole process of adoption takes around 2 to 3 years to complete.
2 to 3 years, that's a very long time.
From the date of registration. And in cases of foreign adoption, if a couple is from some foreign country, then also the process is same, but Kara has certified authorized foreign adoption agencies. So that particular couple has to register themselves in their country to that particular certified adoption agency. And once they are certified, that particular agency will conduct the home study report and they will upload it to Kara portal, and they will do the coordination with Kara.
Okay, that's wonderful. And then, who funds your projects?
Sir, I think as a small NGO in the vast landscape of child welfare organization, we often feel like a small fish in a large pond. The child welfare sector is home to many big NGOs, that have established themselves as recognizable brands. With a broad reach, multiple operations, and multiple centers across the country. These larger organizations with extensive networks, well-established reputations, and significant fundraising capacity are often the first choice for corporates looking to invest in social causes. And corporates often, prefer to associate themselves with well-known names. In this competitive environment, it is incredibly difficult for smaller organizations to secure a CSR funding. I think the corporate world tend to focus its resources on the larger, more established NGOs, seeing them as safer, higher profile investments. However, this leaves smaller NGOs with limited opportunities for financial support from the corporate sector. And I think despite the impact that we create, at the grassroots level, our visibility and brand presence don't match up to those organizations. And I think because of that, we find it difficult to get the CSR funding. Furthermore, it is also important to note that certain causes such as adoption do not seem to capture the same level of corporate interest of funding as more glamorous causes like education, healthcare, or environment sustainability. Adoption is a very crucial issue. We are working in this field. We know that how important this issue is. But sadly, it does not have a high visibility or marketable, this is not a marketable cause in the eyes of many corporates. It's not often seen as an area that garners significant attention or aligns with the corporate interest of visibility or brand positioning. And in light of these challenges, our sustainability as an organization has been made possible largely due to our generous support of our individual donors. It is these individual supporters who believe in our work. It is because of these individual donors, we are doing what we are doing. So to ensure, while these individual donations are invaluable, deeply appreciated, they also have their limitations in terms of scalability, long-term sustainability, and relying on the support of a limited number of donors can, sometimes be challenging as, fluctuations in donations or a lack of resources can, significantly impact the program we run. So, according to me, however, we remain committed to our mission. With the continued support of our individual donors, we are able to make a difference in the lives of these children. And we hope that over time, with increased visibility and advocacy, we can build the recognition necessary to assess broader funding sources and to, continue our crucial work.
With the level of funding that you have, how many children can you support in your center?
Actually, right now we have 24 children, and this number is, keeps on changing. We are capable of the sanction capacity of our center is 50, but at present we have 24 kids, so we are being able to support these children. But if the number goes up to 35 or 40, we won't be able to support with the existing funding.
Right. And what do you feel that the government of India can do more for you?
I think, sir, there should be more awareness from the government side, because adoption as an issue is, really needs awareness among people, among corporates. Because I myself have spoken to so many corporate leaders, CSR leaders who are working for corporates, who are looking after the CSRs of corporates. And I think there is a need to widespread awareness programs uh, that can be created, to spread awareness among people about the importance of education, importance of adoption. And then secondly, sir, to make the process smoother, because there were some amendments in the Juvenile Justice Act. Anyway, we are struggling to get funding, and they standardize the adoption fee. We used to get different adoption fee for foreign and national adoptions, in Indian adoptions, but they have standardized the adoption fees for both. For Indian adoption and for foreign adoption, both we are getting the same fee right now.
What is the adoption fee?
It is 50,000 right now. If the child is being adopted by Indian parents, it is 50,000, and it is same for the other case also. But previously,
per child.
Yes, per child. But sir, the child can stay with us for nearly 1 year or 1.5 years, and sometimes the child stays with us for 2 years also. So I think the government can make this process smoother, so that the child should not wait longer in an institution. Like according to Juvenile Justice Act, it is important to trace a family of a child. But this tracing itself takes around 6 to 7 months. And then when DNA tests are needed, in some cases, to ascertain that that particular person is the parent of the child, we have to conduct DNA test. And that DNA test report comes after 1 year. So the child is staying with us for 1 year, 1.5 years. So that costing is, that burden is still there. So I think the government can make the process smoother, so that the childcare institution can facilitate this whole program in a very easy manner. And then there is a need for creating awareness program on larger scales.
The DNA testing is done by the forensic laboratories?
Yes.
So that, because that couples up with the criminal justice system, and therefore it can bunch up and take a lot of time.
Yes. Like we have a case. We have a child, sir, who came here when she was a few hours old, and she's right now 1.5 years old. Her parents were selling her at the IGI airport, and police caught them. So we are still waiting for the DNA report to come to ascertain that the mother is the biological mother of the child.
No, but even if you are certain that the child belongs to a particular mother and the mother wants to abandon the child, what is your legal position?
Sir, only biological parents can surrender the child. Only biological parents can sign the surrender deeds. So we have to ascertain whether that particular person is biological parent or not.
But if a child is found on the street and deposited with you,
yes,
how do you? There is no way where you can sort of find out.
No, then the whole process is different, sir. If the family is not known, if we are not able to trace the family, then the process is all different. Then the police will produce the child in front of the child welfare committee. The child welfare committee will declare the child as abandoned, and the child will stay with us. Then within the 3 days, we have to update the status of the child on the Kara portal, where we will mention that according to child welfare committee, the child was found abandoned on the street or at so and so place. Then the child undergoes a thorough medical checkup, where we will ascertain that he or she is not having certain kind of emotional trauma, or all the health medical parameters are okay or not. Then this then the missing person advertisement is given in the newspaper with the photograph and all the details of the child. And then the child welfare committee gives 2 months period in cases of children who are below 2 years, and 4 months period for the cases where the children are above 2 years, for the biological parents to come up and claim the child. If nobody comes to claim the child, then the CWC makes the child legally free, and then we can go ahead with the adoption process.
Anshu, do you get any government financial support?
Not right now, sir.
So that is a gap that we have. So everything is privately funded, but controlled by the government.
Yes, yes. Everything is monitored by the government.
Now there's a lot of advent of AI in the air, and you have a lot of digital technology which is there. How does it make your job simpler in terms of adoption?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get it.
With digital technology being available and the internet and so on, your propagation of your for adoption should have become easier.
Yes, yes, sir. I think previously when we did not have a Kara portal, the things were little complicated. But now that we have only one portal where, the agency can also do its work, and the parents can also register there. And, the whole matching process is done on that particular portal. So the physical paperwork, is really decreased. So through internet and through that portal, the adoption process has been made easier.
I know it's not your job, but who propagates the Kara portal? Who tells the world that this is a Kara portal and they are children for adoption?
So it is the responsibility of Ministry of Women and Child Welfare. The Kara portal is under the authority is operates under Ministry of Women and Child Welfare.
Okay, Dr. Gupta, thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights on the struggles and hopes of abandoned children. The conversation has underscored the need for strong rehabilitation programs, legal support, and community engagement. Each one of us has to play their role, whether through awareness, advocacy, or direct action. If we work together, we can ensure that no child feels abandoned or forgotten. And to our audience, if you wish to support this cause, please reach out to NISSMAT. You'll have the telephone number of NISSMAT. Call us and we'll help you donate to the organization. And before I end, I'd like you, Dr. Gupta, to speak a few words about your organization.
Children of the World Delhi, it was founded by Mrs. Mohini Raghunath in 1991. And I think she was single-handedly, handling all the work of the organization with all the passion and hard work that she has done. We are a specialized adoption agency. Our main focus is to give care, protection, and safe environment to the children who are being found on the streets as abandoned, or for the children who are orphaned or are being surrendered by their biological parents. We operate under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, and we operate under the strict regulation of that particular legislation. Here, our main focus is to provide love and care to our children. We ensure that no child should feel that they are living in an institution. We believe that children should feel that they are living in their second home. So we ensure that proper clothing, food, education is provided to them, like as we provide it to our own children. Our main effort is that. And we also support the nearby Manglapuri community. It is a resettlement colony where from time to time we create many awareness campaigns. We also organize awareness talks there. We also do ration distribution, and we also educate adolescent girls about about reproductive health. So these are our main operations. We have a residential center called Mamta, where we cater to the children between the age group of 0 to 6 years. So Yes, this is our main operation.
All right. And every small effort, ladies and gentlemen, can change a life. Once again, Dr. Gupta, we appreciate your dedication and time. Let's continue striving for a better future for every child in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for having me.